Welcome everyone, Costin here with my guide for Ikit Claw on Legendary difficulty, though this applies to any difficulty. You can take the lessons learned from this guide on any difficulty in Immortal Empires in Warhammer Free Beta. Ikit Claw certainly has one of the harshest starts in the game in some way. It isn't hard, it's harsh, it's frustrating in some ways. That's because you don't have an easy path to expand, and Skaven are notoriously bad at an early level. You just start with Skavenblight, and the problem you're going to encounter is this. If I toggle the final word, this is a mod. To the west you have Estalia. If it was just Estalia, yeah, I'd say go for it, fight the war, win the war. That wouldn't be a problem. Though the Empire is certainly going to throw a lot of crossbows against you, which you're not necessarily very well equipped to deal with from the very start. But the problem is you have Mogr here, and what Mogr is going to do is he's going to take this settlement every campaign, turn one pretty much. He's going to put a Hearthstone up, which will affect the entirety of Estalia. Hell, it will affect Skavenblight. Basically, the way Beastmen work is that they put a Hearthstone up and they set up their hunting ground, so to speak, in a region. And in those hunting grounds, if they raise a settlement, it adds to the power of the Hearthstone, and eventually they can conduct a ritual, get to higher tiers. This is one of the primary reasons Beastmen factions are so weak, because they struggle to get those rituals done, they struggle to get the Marks of Ruination to unlock higher tier units, and you would actually need to do quite a few rituals to unlock some good stuff. So you have two main plans. You have the Western plan or you have the Eastern plan. I don't think the Western plan is really a good one. It is a lot of pain and misery in some way, shape or form. So what should you do? Do you have any diplomatic options? No. All the factions, no one really likes you because you're Skaven. Of course no one likes you. So what I'm going to do, you start with Warlock Engineer. I'm going to take him and I'm going to attack the settlement while also leveling Skavenblight. Now I'm going to get the growth one. I'm going to focus heavily on growth in this to get Skavenblight to free. You could take a settlement, abandon Skavenblight, retake it, but that is money, and you're not necessarily going to benefit a lot from getting Skavenblight to level 3 or 4. Sure, you'll get a bunch of lower tier structures, but what you really want is to get this structure to level 3. And you can do that just fine without abandoning Skavenblight in Immortal Empires. In Immortal Empires, I think that was a different discussion, but things have changed. Melee is more viable, range less so. Range is still the way you want to go if you're playing as Ikit Claw, though you might also be using more melee than before. And there's also other DLC packs that have been added in as well since then. So anyway, we're going to take Tobaro. Now, people have said that weapon teams do struggle in minor settlement battles or settlement battles in general. They do in walled settlements, absolutely. But not necessarily in minor settlements. You just need to advance down certain corridors to bait the AI to get shot, basically. The problem is it's always iffy with weapon teams and gunpowder units when they don't shoot. One of the problems I do actually have in a lot of Ikit Claw campaigns is that sometimes I feel the weapon teams should shoot. There's a perfect line of sight there, but they're just not going to shoot. And they get killed as a result of it. They're very squishy, very, very squishy. A lot of range power, but they are incredibly squishy, so you need to be mindful of that particular aspect. Now here, I'm going to deploy the weapon teams over on this side. I'm going to deploy Ikit Claw in the front, the engineer as well, and these guys. And I am going to keep the clan rats and Skaven slaves that I start with, maybe even dismiss the slaves over there. Okay. And just advance. Now, the position can be random. No doubt about it. But what do you do in this kind of situation? Well, you break down the barrier. You have the ammo for it. And they won't be able to rebuild it for a while. And with it down, it's gonna take a bit of time for them to be able to rebuild it. Now, with that sorted out, we're gonna take a claw. You do start with a nuke. You do start with a nuke. Now, they're going to advance over here. And we are going to go for those, get involved, get stuck in with those crossbows. Alright, that didn't quite work out the way I wanted to. He also gets brass orbs, which can do quite a bit of AoE damage. And keep the units locked in. But the basic principle here is get Ikit Claw to draw them in, get them stuck in even, if you can. He won't take a lot of damage, and you can make the AI take a significant amount of damage in return. And also, these guys, while they will take some damage there, sure, they're not necessarily going to take significant amounts of damage on that side. And that's just the strategy. Okay, those weapon teams, if I keep them there, and they should be able to shoot, by the way. They're just not able to because AI bullshit. But Ikit Claw certainly has the capability of dealing with this on his own. Well, that's not pleasant. I was kind of hoping they would be able to... Okay. Those crossbows should be marked for removal. This was a bad entrance in a lot of ways because they could just build barricades from the start. Like, I should have deployed that to another entrance. And the rattling gunners are not going to shoot necessarily. Now they're shooting. But my hero is also taking quite a bit of damage over there. Messy, but it worked. Decisive. And that was certainly not an ideal path. Like, you want to go one that doesn't have barricades. Just look around. I didn't look around because I knew I could win regardless. Like, I knew the AoE. I relied more on the AoE in that, though. That railing gunner that's still killed 200. Alright, with that sorted out, we're just gonna sack it for the money and for the level. And I'm going to get some clan rats with shields and also a unit of clan rat spearmen. I'm also going to recruit a lord over here. Now I'm gonna focus on the warlord. I'm gonna get the warlord. He can get either ambush stance or leadership. Let's go with ambush stance. Can be nice. Extra ambush stance. Ambush chance. Life is the reason you want to get him is because he has these skills over here. So you can either get control, growth to all provinces, not control, income from settlement buildings faction wide, additional ambush stance. Okay. Or casualty replenishment. All of these are good. And I actually think he's one of the better choices to have. Or the assassin as well. Now I'm going to move him in Skavenblight, and I'm going to do some global recruitment of Skaven slaves. Okay. And I am going to do expansionist planning as a commandment. Because I do want the growth. I do want the growth, I do want to get the extra growth through the dominating scheme, and I am going to end the turn. My goal here is to build an army with Ikit Claw over the next few turns while waiting for Certosa basically, to attack the capital of Tylea. They do start a war with each other, so she's eventually going to do that. When does she do that? You want to take advantage of it. Now, one of the things to understand here is Ikit Claw. She's not going to do it instantly. And Ikit Claw, if you move him in the underway, he can attack the capital there from turn 1. Now, over here, took a bit of damage, took some casualties, just sack it again. And you're going to do this however many times it's necessary. I would recommend, if you want to reduce your casualties, I would strongly recommend just fighting this manually. Though, it may not matter. In my case, it would matter because I have taken some damage over there. Gonna get more clan rats with shields and 1 unit more of spearmen. Once he's done training those Skaven slaves with global recruitment, and I'm gonna start getting casualty replenishment. We're start to work for that. This is gonna be ready in 2 turns. And I'm also gonna go in the Forbidden Workshop and get that particular upgrade for ammunition for rattling gunners. The rattling gunners have already replenished a significant amount. You want to end each turn in the Skavenblight province for extra replenishment. Just go in, sack, move out, keep doing it again and again. You can do this until he gets a Doomflayer mount, or until he gets a higher level. But what you're really looking for is when is Sartosa going to besiege the capital of Tylea. Now, Tylea is going to turtle up. This is not a certainty, though this may happen, and I may have forgotten the growth there. But anyway, just get that extra growth, get the meat. Now over here, I'm going to move him close enough, and I'm just going to keep him here and wait. Wait until she attacks. Gonna get the combination of clan rats and Skaven slaves for the range power. Clan rats, of course, for the melee power. You don't want to lose any units, though it's fine if you do. Though, not too many. You do have a quote-unquote battle to fight. Now, because I've got an engineer...
What?
Now, because I have an engineer, I do get extra movement range. In this case, actually, I think I'm gonna get more units for Ikit Claw, actually. Clan rats. More clan rats. He's just gonna sit there, like so. And yeah, just sack it, get some experience. Is it boring? Is it fun? No, it's not fun. I admit it isn't fun in any way, shape, or form, and it is certainly a slow start. Like, some campaigns could capture a vast swath of territory, but the Skaven are a grower faction. You get a lot more powerful the more you grow, the better units you can act. Of course, your economy isn't necessarily too strong from the very beginning, and public order is absolutely going to be an issue because of, well, all the Skaven corruption. Now, let Tylea get units. Just wait. That's what you want to do. Wait. Now, once this is level 2, here's what I recommend. The Packmaster would give you casualty replenishment, so getting this particular building would be ideal. Get the control building as well. Once it reaches another level, you can worry about the Warpstone tractor beam.
Good scheme.
Now, he's gained another level. So keep sacking, keep doing this. Could always occupy it if you want to. Now over here, I'm going to get more Skaven slaves. I do still have the money for it. And I'm gaining more money each turn. So it's going to take 4 turns for the necessary growth to be able to get Skavenblight to a higher level. Though in this case, I'm also losing 10 growth because of the public order. Though I have 40 growth per turn, so I think I'm going to go with that one. I really dislike Skaven corruption because it does affect your public order. You have okay public order as a Skaven, but it's not necessarily the best. Rebellions will be a concern you're going to have to deal with when playing this race. Okay. So we wait, we wait, we wait. And we wait some more.
All tales are mine.
Now, keep in mind, there is vampiric corruption in this province, so you will take attrition if you try and move for it. I think that's enough Skaven slaves for a moment.
Which kill device to use? Hmm? Here, here.
But I'm gonna get more Skaven slaves for Ikit's own army. You can also get the items, so it's not just levels, experience that you're gaining, you're also getting items. Now, generally, with most lords, with most legendary lords, I would recommend going down a skill tree. I'm gonna get pack leader. I'm not fond of clan rats. It would be smarter to go for weapon teams, but you just don't have access to them for a while. Until you do, right, until you get access to them, there's really no value. Now, one of the things to mention here is at the beginning of each turn, let me see diplomatic options. At the beginning of each turn, you're, like, from this position, if you use the underweight, let me just end the turn and I'll demonstrate. But at the beginning of each turn, you'll be able to use the underway to teleport right next to the Tylian capital. And so you can break the siege if need be. Now I'm waiting for Sartosa to start besieging the Tylian capital. And that's going to be my go-ahead. I could head west if I wanted a fight instantly with Estalia. I could pay attention to what's happening there in Estalia. But it isn't necessarily a concern. Any enemy that wants to attack you, be it the Fey Enchantress, Morgar, and all that, sure, they could teleport. But more often than not, they're going to have to come from the west. And Skavenblight is relatively secure. The ground is not necessarily easy to go through. So more money. Living from sacking settlements. But just keep doing this again and again and again until she shows up. She will show up. Okay, so a couple of turns have passed. Ogre is giving me a non-aggression pact. He's also sacked the capital there. I will take the non-aggression pact because he's offering me a lot of money for it. End the turn. So she's laid siege to the capital of Tylia with one army. Now keep in mind the AI generally has two armies pretty much as any faction. Except Skaven. Skaven generally tend to have 2.5 stacks, pretty much. Now she's taken out the capital, Talia. Now it could be that's because the AI did sally forth. Now here's what you do in this situation: you lay siege. This is why this army was deployed here. So you start laying siege. Now if she moves out, you crush her. If she reinforces, you crush her. Let's lay the siege and continue it. It would have been ideal if Tylia had not tried to intercept out there. I've had it happen multiple ways. Like this can happen where she starts laying siege, then Tylia tries and breaks it, fails, by the way. And yeah, you can win. Just gonna auto-resolve it. And going to occupy this as a level 2 settlement. Level 3, just not worth it right now. Although level 3 would be nice, and I certainly have the food for it. The best scenario that you can have on your hands is she lays siege early. The advantage in her doing that is what you can do is you can attack, like you can go to Tylia, like you can use the underway, go right next to Tylia, then go to Tylia next turn. Like, wait the turn. If she takes the city, she takes the city. Like, if she attacks the city, or Talia attacks, try and intervene. Okay, over here, let's get some money. I would argue the growth building is probably the best one that you can go for. Now I'm gonna move him over there, like so. And gonna get more Skaven slaves. You want the key to playing a campaign on Legendary in particular? Get so many units that you're not fighting battles yourself. That resolve is in your favor.
Blacklisted. Kill at once.
Now over here, I'm gonna get Scorch. Is the skill that is best suited. And now, with that sorted out, yeah, I'm gonna get Tail Weapon. Tail Weapon and Blade Master. You don't want to invest in increasing your clan rat skills when you have no clan rats to speak of. So she's gonna start training another army. Now, Sartosa itself, as a settlement, starts as a level 2. It's likely by the point she attacks it. Now, the AI is kind of weird, because if it sees you in the vicinity, like, I think it's far more likely that she attacks the Dalian capital. If she doesn't, if I have an army in Skavenblight and I'm just moving constantly every turn to see if she's besieging it or not, she might do it earlier. In fact, that's happened to me in a previous campaign where she did assault it pretty quickly. Alright.
War power. Ikit claw. Against the code.
Now she has a settlement here. Though it is a minor settlement, and she doesn't really have a lot of ranged, and certainly not a lot of good ranged. Now with this, I'm gonna go into the lab, and in the lab, I already got the onboard waste compactor. I'm going to upgrade my Jezzails, and that's gonna give me a banner. Now, over here, we're gonna march against this particular army, which only has 2 units. So I want to throw them out.
No! Blame you!
Okay. Keep upgrading these structures. You can see that Mogr has done quite a lot over here against the Stalia. He's eventually gonna wipe them out. Do you want an agreement with Mogr? Likely not, honestly. Do you want an agreement with the Broken Nose to piss off Belegar? Also likely not. Pissing off Belegar is just a really bad plan in a lot of ways. Okay.
Kill targets now.
So again, out resolve. I'll lose 1 unit, boo-hoo. It's just a unit of clan rats with shields. In this case, I'm just gonna occupy it. As level 1. Growth is okay as Skaven, so I don't need to worry too much about it.
I like this plot.
Now, with that structure, I can recruit wolf rats, though I believe that those are tied to the DLC, if I'm not mistaken. Get more growth. Having growth is good. But both of these are going to be good choices. Though in this case, maybe growth wouldn't be, so wouldn't be the best choice in the world. Okay. Yeah, Blade Master, another rank for Ikit Claw. Sartosa is still level 2, she hasn't leveled it to 3 yet. She hasn't started leveling it to 3. If you can reach Sartosa before she gets it to level 3, then you're in for a good ride. Now once Ikit Claw gets to about level... that particular level... of 7. Like once he gets to about 7, you want to stop recruitment. You want to stop. Sorry, you want to stop getting. You want to stop getting ranks for him, because once he gets to 10, he can get some really good stuff. Work fuel, 50% chance to acquire after fuel. Ammunition increased, okay. Melee strength, recruit rank for Doomflayer and Doom Wheels, and the boom, the big boom. Upgrading the brass orb, which is one of the best abilities he actually has. He's like a really nice hybrid. He's got pretty much everything. Now, I am going to end the turn. There's a chance of a rebellion here. Bam. Our Nessa is gonna get vampire corruption very high. It's gonna be an issue. You either need to keep your guys in a camp stance or keep them in cell. That also means that when you fight the battle for a settlement, you pretty much need to win at the same turn. No laying siege. No laying siege. Now, Mogre is just as likely to declare war on you, though Skavenblight is a fairly secure settlement. It does have a fairly solid garrison they can utilize.
Which kill device to use?
Okay. Just gonna get it to level 2. I have the food for it. Level 3 is not important right now. Alright, get some control over there.
Agree, I do.
And Sartosa is next. Get a bunch of Skaven slaves. Slingers, specifically. Clan rats are okay, melee units. Get control. Reduce the corruption. Now, getting this 15% upkeep reduction for Skaven slaves is useful. And it doesn't matter because Tylea is back with a rebellion. That is the problem of the Skaven situation, in that they are at initial control. You're quite likely going to face a rebellion when you take over a province. Now what do I do here? Well, even if they literally take the settlement, I'm moving on to Sartosa. It is going to take them some turns, however, for their rebellion to gain strength. Besides, I'm going to want to go back anyway eventually. Just not right now. Don't want to lose that 5 loyalty. That is painful, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, with this entire army, we move to Sartosa. And we take it over. It probably will be showing up as a defeat, as an expected outcome. Don't care though. Because I do have this entire stack of Skaven slaves to support that. And that should be enough, I think. You want to play on Legendary? Get used to building stacks of troops that can win battles without you getting involved. Really. That's a lot of money that I just gained. A lot of money. Now over here, I'm going to start at a level 3. Repair the port. Can get some resources. Can get some wine. Can get some control. So there's certainly benefits over here. Either wine or control. Tell you what, I think it's actually smarter, although the wine will be nice later on, I think it's actually smarter right now to worry about public order and control right now.
Guide us, Horned One.
And that's pretty much the campaign start, really.
My technocracy.
Situation is going to start stabilizing soon enough. I do get, I can get this to level 3, this to level 3. Get the Packmaster. Do you need it? Yeah, you could use it. Get more engineers, get plate claws. And eventually get this as well for extra income. I could also disband this army, though I'm sure he might go rogue if I did that. Even though he is leading a bunch of slaves, and he is disposable.
Yes, yes.
And Ikit has finally reached level 10. Now I can get Warlock Engineers, chance to acquire, upgrade his special weapon, get Concentrate the Flame. Doomflayers can wait. Now, have I gotten, looking at the factory, have I gotten enough? Well, not quite. To get to level 2, I need to use the Doom Rocket in a battle for some extra benefits. And yeah, ensure use a Doom Rocket in a battle. Can build a Doom Rocket, haven't used the nuke just yet. Gonna increase mobility. And get more research. That is a lot of Skaven slave upgrade benefits, right? Well, there's a reason why you stack these guys as units. They're crap, but you can get them in large numbers. I can also get another army. Would he rebel in that situation? Chances are not necessarily if I dismissed him right now. So okay, you take over Sartosa. Plain and simple, this is on Legendary. You all saw what I did. It might take more turns, it might take fewer turns. She's declared war. She's launching a navy. Wow. She hates me so much that she's literally gonna cross the ocean to fight the Skaven. Though she's not really a big concern. Like, Tylea itself doesn't really matter that much. And one of the key elements I would say when you are playing the game, never let the AI dictate what you are doing in your campaign. Always be the one that sets the plan. Even if I lose Sartosa over here, that isn't too big of an issue. To be quite blunt about it. Now, that might be something of an issue.
Yes.
And it is quite likely that it is going to happen at some point or another in your campaign. What do you do then? Well, you deal with the immediate threat. The immediate threat is the rebellion. Sartosa is fine. It will be fine.
Horned One watches me.
And Rapunzel is gonna take some turns to get over there. So instead, what I'm gonna do is deal with the rebellion. and increase the situation, increase the income of Skavenblight. Now, Skavenblight is likely going to come under siege. That's one of the reasons. Sarto says, nice. Skavenblight is essential. You don't want to lose it. This is the downside of this particular plan, that the Mogre is quite unlikely to wipe out Estalia completely, and Estalia, since it hates you so much, is going to come for you. And now comes the issue that plagues a lot of campaigns. Everyone declares war on you. Though here's the thing, after this point, none of it matters. You've gotten Skavenblight to a good enough level, you've stabilized the situation. How you tackle with this is really up to you. My personal bit of advice in all of this, deal with the rebellion. Rapunzel is not necessarily, like you can see, she's fallen back because guess what? She's got other fucking foes to deal with. And keep upgrading this region. Keep the upgrades coming. Get the control in order. Get everything sorted out. And Estalia might come for me. They might not come for me. The corruption issue has been solved. The greenery has returned. And it was just a rebellion of spearmen. That was nice. Gonna go for a bit of extra food and experience on units. 100 experience may not seem by a lot, but it actually does count for something.
Absolutely not.
And the thing about the Estalia, they don't have any buildings to produce units from. Now what do I do here? Well, there are multiple ways of approaching this situation. Multiple ways of viewing this entire situation.
Sigma's will.
I could go finish Estalia. Now, Carcassonne, the Fey Enchantress, she's not necessarily going to be too big of a problem. Attacking Skavenblight is difficult, to put it mildly. The reason it's difficult is that it is incredibly well defended to begin with. The garrison itself is nothing to joke about. But there's more, of course. The terrain here, and that's the key element that makes Skavenblight so good. The terrain here is not exactly the most pleasant piece of terrain that you can imagine in the game.
Knows who his boss is.
So it's slow. That's the key part. It's slow to navigate. Now, what choices are there?
All right.
Now I'm returning to. I'm going to return to Estalia there. To Skavenblight, though I'm doing it for a different reason than you might. I mean, yeah, I am going to deal with the Estalian army, but I'm also going to want to recruit troops. Dismiss some units, start getting Giselles and Rattling Gunners. I'd say probably don't go higher than 3-4 Rattling Gunners. A couple of Giselles early on, you won't be able to afford them. You always have to balance out your early game army between having a really powerful army, or a few powerful armies, and having multiple armies at the same time. Now, Mogre has shown that he's willing to be friendly towards me for a moment. And he's not, and the Beastmen are not necessarily a big threat on the campaign map, so he can
Warlock engineer. Cogs in motion.
be dealt with. Now, I'm going to get the Packmaster and Warlock Engineer. Another one.
Warlock engineer. Master of
Get the Packmaster for the sake of... well, you get growth. And he supposedly, like, yeah, you embed them and he replenish troops. Ah, there we go. Yes, the public order is not exactly the best in the world. So maybe the best game plan is to maintain an army of Skaven slaves, or a couple of units over here that you can recruit and then pass on to Ikit for him to use. Or I could disband some of the Skaven slaves, though they are going to cost very, very little. Orion is coming for me in this case.
By the comet. Where next now? Master Commander.
Now here I'm gonna lose him and that entire army. Boo-hoo. Who cares? Genuinely. The hero is, losing him kinda sucks, but losing the army doesn't.
Make it so.
Going to get rid of some clan rats here as well. Or actually get rid of the Skaven slaves.
More warmstone. Now.
So it says it replenishes troops, but it is a bit of a misleading situation, really, isn't it? Let's take short maids.
Scamper. Okay.
Research-wise, I do recommend focusing on the early tree, though getting this one for growth and recruitment costs for Skaven saves and control, just getting all of this, would be nice as well. Now that the Stallion army is not going to do anything. So, what do you do after you've secured Sartosa? You may deal with rebellion, you may deal with the Stallion army, you may deal with half the world declaring war against you, even if they aren't going to follow through on that. What is your game? Now, the reason Rapunzel is not really going to attack me here is simple. She doesn't have the ability to do so. The AI doesn't want to go too deep into enemy territory. And the closest piece of territory between me and her is Sartosa itself. Now, he's laid siege. He's been taking a lot of attrition there. I think the garrison might be able to do it. Yep, and as expected. Alright. So Stalia has been dealt with. What now?
An impossible part.
We can go deal with Orion if I want. I can start recruiting units here if I want. I can get the second army and recruit units there if I want. Choices. Choices. I think getting a Lord, Warlock hero, and having him recruit some weapon teams and all that. Catapults. 2 catapults is always a good idea. So keep in mind, costs. It is expensive. It's not cheap.
Tinker.
And that would be the end of Estalia.
Yes?
Dark are these.
I didn't realize that Mogr... Well, I think they still had one piece of territory there. Mogr just went... But yeah, the problem I'm gonna have right now is something concerning money and defending all this territory. I don't expect Coron, or I don't expect Carcassonne to actually come for me. The AI of Carcassonne, like, they might not. Again, Skavenblight is a nasty piece of work to actually assault, even as the player. And as you can see, they walked right into my ambush, gave me money. There's the real army. Look at all these legendary lords coming to Ikit to pay their homage in blood and gold. The thing is, all the battles I fought, all the sacking I've done, the sieges I took part of, etc., they've made this army a pretty good one. Orion may be able to beat this, but it won't be easily. So I'm gonna get tail weapon. So I guess I was a bit wrong about the Packmaster. Now, obviously, I wouldn't be able to afford an army like this right at this point, and maintain a second army as well. Now I'm gonna get 4 Giselles. Actually, just... yeah, 4, make it 4. I'm gonna disband some of these boys. And he's gained another level. Let's get Blastmaster. Let's see if I can win this. Yeah, I can. Highest difficulty in the game. The AI just commits suicide by Skaven. And now? What do I do now? Good question. That is a good question. Well, there are plenty of choices. A good number of choices. I can get more growth, control. I can start heading for Belagar. Get Doom. I've got fuel as well. The only thing I haven't done is use the Doom Rocket in battle. I'm sure Belagar will be happy to fill that role. But that's going to require a manual battle. Either way, that's how you get started as Ikit. That's how you get a good campaign start that allows you to get pretty far. The Packmaster may have been a bad choice on my part, though I could get rat ogres, and he can summon wolf rats with poison. So he's not useless. Far from it, he's actually pretty good, but not for this particular army.
Blacklisted. Kill at once. Diabolic devices.
Now I would not want to use a Doom Rocket. What if I don't want to use a Doom Rocket in a battle? This is gonna stabilize, start stabilizing soon enough. This is already generating a good amount of income over there. Skavenblight also generating a decent amount of income. So yeah, I'm in a pretty good spot. The problem is I can't go after Belagar because that means dealing with the Wood Elves. Oof, that would be nasty. So what are the choices I have here? I can go destroy that Hearthstone. It's a choice. Get all of Estalia. It's a western province. It's a closed off province. It's safe. No one's gonna bother you. That's one choice. I could go after Belagar, if I so desire. That's a choice. It can work. Might make a deal with Scrag. Might fight Scrag. Hell, I could just fight Scrag. The thing is, you want to expand in a way, and this is where I'm going to end it. In terms of expansion, my piece of advice is that don't expand in a way that leaves you vulnerable. Expanding in Sartosa is something that leaves you vulnerable, but Sartosa is pretty formidable as a settlement, I'd argue. So her opponent is not just going to show up and take it. And even if she does, I'd love it if she tried to do that. I just raise an army at Lucini instantly, maybe stack it with regiments in renown, and hit her in the back. Even if she assaults the walls, like these guys, yeah, these clan rats are crap. But the thing is, Skaven settlements are not good for a faction that relies on either cavalry or ranged units to break through. Bretonnia relies on both, and they don't have best ranged units, and their cavalry would just be slaughtered trying to take Sartosa. She could besiege it, but that wouldn't really work. But I just then turn Naked Claw south and beat the crap out of her. And if I look at my army here, with all that I have gathered, that's quite a lot. Gonna give the Packmaster as well. If I take this entire army, actually, yeah, I'm gonna keep these two. This is a Doom stack. This is turn 19. Could it have been faster? Yeah. You could possibly get this faster. But right now, there's no fight, no foe in the game at this point that can beat the Claw in a straight up fight. Unless I get my Rattling Gunners in a bad position, something along those lines. That could very well end up happening, but this army is just not going to be stopped so easily. And once I use the Doom Rocket in a battle, in a manual battle, I haven't fought one in a while. Come on, I've achieved all of this through auto-resolves, which is always more horrible than fighting on your own. Man, Costin here signing out. Don't forget to subscribe, like, enable notifications, and I'll see you next time.